Sit back, relax, put your belt on, and enjoy the show.
All right, let's round it out with the final fixture of the week. And as I said in the reviews earlier, the Reds Brumbies was the game of the round. I haven't even watched these fixtures yet, but I can tell you this will be the game of the round. The Blues taking on the Crusaders on Sunday afternoon in Auckland. This was the top of the table clash we were denied last year because of COVID. It was kind of one of the last fixtures. The whole season was kind of building up to it. Not that actually by that point the Blues could knock off the Crusaders. I think the Crusaders had already won. But this is this game we've all been waiting for. The clear first and second, the top of the table. Sunday game is a bit annoying because we're going to have to wait for Friday for lineups. It's been killing us as fantasy managers. But look, when we get into the lineups, I think they're pretty settled anyway. So in terms of returning for the Crusaders or returning players for both teams, Crusaders, do we see Ethan Blackadder come back for this one? He had kind of just, I think it was a concussion in the game before. They have the bye next week, so they don't have to rush him back in. And similarly with Cullen Grace, who I think had like a minor rib injury and it was kind of, we don't need to play him last week. Don't show the respect to the Chiefs. But they'll want their best team on the park this week. So do we see either of them come back in? Sione Havili and the Uber driver, Douglas. Look, Vetu had an awesome game last week, so it'll kind of be hard to sit him out this week, but
he'll be starting.
That's good positive reinforcement. I like it. But yeah, that's the only players I can see returning for this week. Injuries, we don't really do injuries, but the big question for the Blues will be if Mark Talea is out injured, who comes in? So Imoni Narawa came on and played the second half last week, scored a try, had a pretty good outing. He's good. A very, very exciting player. So do we just see him slot straight in, or we could possibly see Tanielu Talea slot in? Yeah. He's played on the wing before. Nelson, you're a big fan of his?
Yeah, I'm a massive fan of his. But look, I think they do see him more as a centre option. For me, you look at the back end, you look at that match last week, they chose to put, they chose to keep Nareki. Who did they come on for? Mate, it's getting late. It's midnight.
Blues, it was...
they put Narawa on, sorry.
Yeah.
Narawa on, yeah.
So I think it'll be our time to see him, wear that wing spot, get that chance. He was in that same breath as Nareki, last year preseason, coming into it after a big 1-10 cup. So
yeah,
I think we'll get to see him start.
He was talented. I'm excited by him. Craig, are you going to say that?
Yeah, absolutely. I think he was one of the top try scorers in Mitre 10, as Nels was alluding to. He played a lot more fullback than wing. But yeah, he's a very exciting player, Narawa. Of course, there's my player I talked all preseason about, who I know we could see slide onto the bench then, the very young Zahn Sullivan, who's Will Jordan 2.0. That's some big raps there. But anyway, it'll be exciting to see what happens there. I think you're right, Nels. I think Tanya, even though it could be easy to just sub a Talea for a Talea, we'll probably see Tanielu Talea on the bench because he can cover. He needs to cover that centre, but also can cover any wings as well. I guess while we're on the Blues, the rest of the back line's pretty set. It's really interesting that they have such attacking weapons in Caleb Clark, Rieko Ioane, and Talea, or not this week Talea, that it allows them to effectively run 3 10s on the field. Yeah. And, we've talked about the double playmaker, the role of either having your second playmaker in the 12 jersey or the 15 jersey, aka Kurtley Beale. The Blues have 3 10s on the field. Harry Plummer, Stephen Perra-Franchise, and Otera Black, they're all 10s. That's their main position they play. Look, I know Harry Plummer he's probably played a lot of his career at 12 as well, but he took Auckland through to win the Mitre 10 Cup the year before last as the 10. And it's really fascinating. I think they all three of them slot in as first receiver throughout the play and are directing around the attack. They're all capable of cross-field kicks that chips through. It's really hard to defend against when you've got a 10 on either side of the field, and it's quite difficult. It's adding this new dimension in. But anyway, in terms of the Blues, the only other I guess selection queries I can see are Kurt Eklund. Far out, Jesus. We'll get there. Does he slot back into the starting jersey? So they had Lutaru Tolai starting this week. I guess the only thing I can think of is Tolai's a lot of a bigger body. Perhaps they might want him for these scrums against the Crusaders, but otherwise, we don't know what that was about. Was Eklund just getting a rest? Was they're trying to keep him competitive? I don't know. I don't know what too much to think about Tolai. He hasn't really excited me that much. But there's that, and then the only other one is the locks. The 20-year-old Sam Derry, he had a really good game, I thought. He's very exciting and very highly touted prospect. Can he hold out the likes of Gerard Kelly, Tuioti, and Josh Goodhue? I'm not sure. It would seem you wouldn't think so, but he did certainly have a very good game. What do you guys think?
Yeah, look, I don't see Derry getting that starting jersey again. I think they gave him a chance. I think he did pretty well. But I mean, Kelly Tuioti, Goodhue are both very experienced campaigners. So I'd be very surprised if we didn't see one of them back in that starting jersey for me. And Kurt Eklund, I think he's their choice. Their hooker for the year. I think it was a week that they were either giving him a rest or maybe he was carrying a niggle or something along those lines. They were giving him a bit of a freshen up. But I think we'll see him start again too.
Yeah, you're up against the Crusaders. You're going to be playing these experienced guys.
Yeah, no, that's fair.
Yeah.
And yeah, speaking of the Crusaders, last thing with the Blues is just flip a coin for which All Black props start. Who knows? But we'll see. Maybe they do start Offer and Big Carl again because it's the Crusaders, but who knows? Crusaders, I don't really see them changing much. We talked about if there's Blackadder or Cullen Grace. That's really about it. You know what I mean? The rest of the team kind of picks itself. Joe Moody was on the bench last week, so probably straight back into starting. Joe the Grub Moody. And Whitelock, Barrett, all kinds of picks itself. And then the back line, you just need to have Will Jordan on the field and probably at fullback. So, David Havili, fantastic fullback, but Lester Fine. Yeah, he's just fantastic at everything. So I think how do you keep all these players on the field? You play Havili at 12, basically. I think Sever Reese and Fying and Nuku have been unbelievably good. It's going to be really hard to drop either of them. And Havili still had a field day at 12. You know what I mean? He slots back and forth, kind of around. It's a bit of a more roaming position from him, but I don't really see them changing anything. The Crusaders, I think it'll be business as usual. So. How do we see this game going? I think we probably all agree on the results, but I'll go first. I see the Crusaders winning this one, the low-hanging fruit. I think it'll be a close game, though. I think, it'll be maybe Crusaders within 7, I'd say.
Yeah, look, I'm going to echo that. I think this is the Blues' chance to get their win against the Crusaders. I think the Crusaders have been a little bit off their game. A few things went their way last week. I just don't think they've been as solid as we have seen in previous years, despite some individual brilliance. Mind you, Moonga, I think, found his fancy feet back again last week, stepping inside many people and creating a lot of opportunities. But yeah, look, I think the Crusaders will get this one done, but I think it will be tight. I'll go with the Crusaders by 3.
A bit of cooler response. I will say the same. Obviously,
be different.
I don't want to say the Blues. No, it's going to be the Crusaders by, let's just say 10.
Oof, 10, all right. And before I move on, I realise I just talked a lot about lineups and players and whatnot, but I guess the keys to this game for me, very simple. It'll be that matchup, Richie Mo'unga versus Aotearoa Black. So Black really needs to lock it down. And then it will be what I think the Blues are much more capable of this year is playing the full 80 minutes. That's literally been their downfall the last 2 years or so. We always talk about the Crusaders score some insane, like 75% of their points in the last 20 minutes or something. I think the Blues are going to be well ready for that this time. I think the Blues just look like a much more calm and composed team, and it will be, can they keep that? Like if they get one or two bad reffing decisions against them, do they crumble, or can they just, keep it together? That will ultimately be. I think the Crusaders showed as well that they really upped their discipline last week. The week before they had heaps of penalties, but last week not the case. So anyway, it'll be an interesting one. The Crusaders, they're going to take it out. Simple, easy choice. But very good. That will do us for the main course.